Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Harvest League 3.11. In this episode, I'm going to be making a video talking about the Torrent's Reclamation Cloth Belt. This is a new belt from this league, Harvest League. It's by using the Time Light Scroll. You get this from the infused beachhead, the new tier 16 with 20 beachheads. And then this scroll, when you use it on the old, the Flow Untethered, you get this Torrent's Reclamation. A lot of viewers have been asking about this, so I decided to make a video. So let's start it off with the Flow Untethered. So this was the old thing. Back in the past, we had this, which is the Flow Untethered. It would give you the Harbinger of Time skill, which summons a Harbinger of Time, and then the Flow Untethered is a buff that lasts 8 seconds with a cooldown of 20, and grants the following a benefit, 20% action speed. So what did they do when they made this new Torrent's Reclamation? Well, like I said, you sell it to a vendor with Timelight, or you use it, I don't know. Yeah, you use the Timelight scroll on the Flow of Untethered, you get the Torrent's Reclamation. Torrent's Reclamation is this. And so instead of the old one, you get greater Harbinger of Time. And so what is greater? So you know how this one said 20 seconds with a cooldown of 20? This one is 8 seconds with a cooldown of 10. It doesn't tell you here, but it does in the POB. If I can quickly grab this. So I put the belt in my main build just to see what it would do, the Torrent's Reclamation, and then when you go into configuration, there's actually this slipstream active thing, and it says here, greater Harbinger of Time slipstream buff grants 20% increased action speed, not more. Buff affects the player and allies. Buff has a base duration of 8 seconds with a cooldown of 10. Okay, so when you actually click it, it's like 3.6, right? Added, but I calculated it myself with this. I didn't know you could enable it in the POB, so I was doing my own little notes. But I guess the best way to start it off is viewers have been asking, is this worth running? Is this the best in slot? Is this broken? Should I be using it? Question after question after question, because there's lots of hype around this belt. So like I said, you put on the belt, you get greater Harbinger of Time. You activate the greater Harbinger of Time. You wait for him to do his thing. Any second. Come on. Give me it. Okay, so he gives me the effect, and it's this Torrent's Reclamation, and it's this circle. So it's this really, if you can see it, it's a really tiny circle, basically the size of flesh and stone, and it would be down for 2 seconds, up for 8. So if you know our build by any chance, when we're actually mapping, the monsters are never inside this tiny circle. They're usually over here, really far off of my screen maybe. This Torrent's Reclamation belt just doesn't really work for our build, but let's say best case scenario, let's go look at the POB and show off what I mean by all this. So first I'm going to start with this POB, and this is Darkness Enthroned build. Okay, so imagine my build without the belt is 1.8. Okay, without a belt we get 1.8. What I did is I took a Darkness Enthroned, which gives 75% increased effective socketed jewels instead of 50. They buffed this. This is another crazy thing that's in the league that you have to compete with. So I was able to grab these two 20x jewels just for the example to give Darkness Enthroned the best chance possible. So life, attack speed, physical damage, and attack speed when minions killed recently. Use 2 of them. So you gain a bit of life from the belt, like without the belt 4800, with the belt 5152, or sorry, 5145. Okay, and then the damage. So now I wrote these notes and I said you get 356,000 damage from the Darkness Enthroned 2 Abyss Jewels. It takes you up to 2.156 from 1.8. 356,000 of the base damage 1.8 without the belt is 19.7% more damage. We also gain life, and we gain a bit of regen because we gained life. Okay, so that's the Darkness Enthroned. Now, let's compare this to the damage belt of this Greater Harbinger belt, because that's what it's for. It's for damage. 1.8 million with 20%. I put in more attack action speed. There's technically no action speed, so it's 20% more in this build specifically, but it's fine. 20% increased action speed equals 360%, 360k more damage, so we go up to 2.16. It's slightly off because I calculated myself instead of using the slipstream active in the POB. I'll have that as a fair warning now. So with it only 80% uptime, because as we know, it said it's up 8 seconds, down, has a cooldown of 10, so it's down for 2, so at 80%. So it's only 288,000 of the 360k, so it's 2.088, so 288k of the base 1.8 is already looking worse than the double Abyss Darkness Enthroned belt, and this works without needing to be near your allies. It's not a tiny little circle on the ground that never would work. Equals 16% more damage, and we get a little bit more regen, less life. So this, in our build, is less than the Darkness Enthroned with less life. It's like super obvious. Okay. Next, there's one more. We have tried to now come up. Nazgul shared that the belt may not be good in our build, but it is good in his build. So what I did is I grabbed his POB and I did this. Oh wait, one more thing. My build again. So this is my build, but when I run my belt, my Stygian Vise. So I personally like running the Stygian Vise with this taunt blind jewel way more than trying to go for damage. We already have so much damage. Why do we need the extra 16 to 19% more for a belt spot? Dude, I can gain 600 life and 300 regen. Why? And the taunt and the blind. So now let me write the notes that I put here. So this is my Stygian Vise with increased attributes, life, increased life, life recovery rate, regen during flask effect, which, by the way, if I click a flask, 1481. Okay, dude, that's really dumb. Okay, next. The Ghastly Jewel is life, taunt, blind to physical damage. So taunt and blind is amazing if you've never played with it, but basically 600 more life, 300 more regen, 40k more damage for a DPS increase of 2.2%, because I still do have some increased damage here. So it's not completely no damage. And then we have Taunt and Blind. Now, if you had to ask me between these three options, which one would I use? Well, I'm using the Stygian Vise belt because I don't like these. So I would not use Darkness Enthroned. I 100% am not using the Torrent's Reclamation belt. That's, nope, not a thing. Not a thing for me. Darkness Enthroned is really big damage. It's pretty cool, but again, what the fuck, man? We don't need this. I need a defensive belt with Taunt, Blind, Abyss Jewel, Value, Life, Regen, good stuff. Pog. Now we'll show the best case scenario for the build. Okay, so imagine there's this. What is this, Ethan? What are you showing us? This is Nazgul's Spectre build. And so he does some cool stuff here. He's got these large clusters and he doesn't use Rotting Claws. He uses my old method of using an 8-point to have Rotting Claws here so that he doesn't have to spend the extra 2 points. So he's a 5-point large with 2 notables and 2 jewels, and it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So then he did all this and all that and all that, and it's like, okay, so he claims that the Torrent's Reclamation is the better belt in his build. Let me show it. So Torrent's Reclamation, 4.4 million without the effect. With the effect, he goes to 5.3. It's 884,000 from the Harbinger belt, but imagine only 80% uptime, so 707,000 damage divided by the base 4.4 gets 16% more, just like it should be. That's how the belt works. It's always going to be this number, or at least it should be, unless they already have action speed, which this, I don't know how this interacts with like Soul Eater. But either way, if he used Darkness Enthroned, so I compared it directly in his build with the same 2 Abyss Jewels, trying my best, and he gets 471,000 instead of 707,000, so it's only 10.16 more. So it's funny to show how in his build, because he has so much damage in other places, that it's worth it to use the action speed multiplier instead of the flat Abyss damage. because, yeah, but in my build, the Darkness Enthroned is better. It's really cool. Also, a side note, so if you remember in game how this guy gives me the buff and it's a circle around me, it would usually be that the redemption sentries actually stand near you, same with like your AG and stuff, so maybe they're actually going to get the buff most of the time, especially in like Blight, whereas if I played something with this build right now, anything, literally anything, as soon as I get near something, it's not, like this would only work for bossing where it takes more time, or I'll just show a quick example basically, but this would literally only work in bossing and stuff where you can stand on top of the boss, and then you're more inclined, since you want to stand on the boss with this, you probably want Sakawal's Avian, you maybe also want Flesh and Stone, you just want all the tiny auras, but as you can see, I'm here, and my minions are nowhere near me most of the time. Look, they jump off the screen, they're not in this circle. It doesn't work for my build, so it's the last time I should ever hear about if this is good for our build. I don't think it is. I'm not going to use it, but it has its uses in the game for redemption sentries, and technically it does help for running around faster, I guess, but I would rather use a headhunter, because I can go from 200 move speed to 400, where this is only 20% more, 16% more average. But yeah, most of the time this isn't going to make a difference on my Carrion golems. It does work sometimes. It truly does work sometimes, but again, I could just, if I wanted damage, I could run a Darkness Enthroned build. But here's where it would work the best. You could stand on the boss, and then you guarantee that they're attacking the boss, they get the buff from you. That's pretty cool, at least. But either way, I think that is a great video about the belt, how to get it, where it comes from, why people think it's good, where it should be used in instead of my build. This thing's like 5.8x. I don't think it's worth using, since we can make these rare belts with such insane stuff, and I've already shown how to make a belt like this. Soon I'll be making the Ghastly Jewel video, but either way, I wanted to put this video out that we shouldn't be using this Harbinger belt. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the support. Can't do this without you guys. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. Thank you guys for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!